Hey everyone. Tonight, before we begin, I want to offer a simple reminder. Every life is a story, and every story holds a truth someone else needs. That's what Spirit Talk Show is about. We explore the deep threads that connect us through courage, creativity, heartbreak, reinvention, and the quiet moments that shape who we become. Some people carry wisdom like a lantern. They don't try to impress you with answers. They just shine a light, and suddenly a path feels less dark. Our guest tonight is one of these people. His writings feel like sitting beside an ancient tree, steady, grounded, and patient, listening to the old world. Breathe. So take a moment and settle in and open up part of you that still believes in wonder. This is Doyle. You're listening to Spirit Talk Show, Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups. Thank you for listening. If you guys would like to get involved, you can go to spirittalkshow.com. So Spirit Talk Show is built on the simple belief when we pause long enough to listen, people reveal extraordinary stories. Stories that remind us how connected we really are. Spirit Talk Show celebrates the lives of everyday heroes, artists, travelers, healers, and seekers. Each episode is a conversation wrapped in heart, curiosity, and a touch of imagination. Today I'm talking with a guest whose work invites you to slow down, look deep, and listen to the wisdom held by the world around you. His writing lives at the crossroads of folklore, introspection, and ancient truth. Through his site, oldgrandmotherstree.com, he offers stories, teachings, and reflections that feel like they were whispered by something older than memory and kinder than time. This is a conversation about roots, meaning, creativity, and the quiet magic woven in a life lived with intention. Well, Joseph, thank you. I'm so glad we connected. Let me tell you, having you here feels a little dangerous. You're so accomplished. You've done so more than the rest of us done in like decades. Ease us into your superpowers, please.
Okay, well, let's see. So I actually did 25 years in the Army.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did 25 years in the Army. I enlisted right out of high school. I thought I was only going to do 2 years, but I ended up doing 25. I did time at West Point.
Wow.
I went to Afghanistan for a year. I went to airborne school. I had an eerie experience where I thought I was going to die.
Wait, where?
A couple of times. I almost died in a pretty strange way in Afghanistan too. Well, and I almost thought I died when I was 18.
Are you allowed to tell us, or is it like classified?
Sure, I can tell you.
Yeah, tell us.
It's kind of the strangest. It would be the strangest war story I could ever tell you. But
okay.
Yes. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, well, hey, go ahead. It's all yours.
Okay. So anyway, I served in Afghanistan 2006 to 2007. Mm-hmm. I was in the headquarters. I was an Army space officer, one of two in the whole Afghanistan. And most of the work I did was secret. So when I have war stories to tell, I can only tell this one because everything else is just classified.
Mm-hmm.
I have to take it to my grave. Yes. So anyway, while I was there, in fact, it was about this time, Christmas, just before Christmas, we actually had a aspiring actor from Britain that was there. And so he organized a bunch of us to put on a play for the base. And the play was A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And I got to play Jacob Marley.
Okay, so in Jacob Marley is
in
the one
Afghanistan.
Is okay. Oh wait, like also Howie's here with me. Who's Jacob Marley? Which character is?
He was Ebenezer Scrooge's
business
partner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's the one who haunts him. And he comes with all the chains.
And then you're hung up by and that's what I'm thinking. He's going to be almost hung by chains here. Am I rooting?
Yes. So anyway, Jacob Marley, in the story, if you watch it, there's a lot of different versions. He haunts Scrooge the very night. Says he's making chains as long as the ones that he's wearing, and he forged the chains of life because he was greedy and selfish and mean to everyone, and so here he is in chains. He's a dead person, a ghost. And so anyway, were rehearsing. We had a full costume rehearsal, and whole cast walked outside at night on the base. And keep in mind, everyone on the base is armed at all times, unless you are showering or sleeping. You have a weapon with you, with live ammo. So anyway, we were kind of promoting the play, and I was walking around in full costume as Jacob Marley. So imagine me. I have like this ghoulish makeup on my face. It makes it look really gaunt and, dark. And I'm wearing chains all around me. So I'm walking around this base like this, and I kind of freaked this guy out. This other soldier, he's looking at it, and he's just staring at me, and he was like totally freaked out. And I'm like, what's going on? And he said, I should just have some fun with it. And I just kind of, gave him a little bit of scare with the chains and rattled the chains. So anyway, did that. Nothing else happened except the next day I went in for breakfast, and one of my fellow officers came up to me, and she said, "Hey, guess what? Did you know that you almost got shot last night?" I go, "Oh, really?" "Yeah, that guy, he thought he just got here to the theater in Bagram, and he thought that you were an escaped Taliban. And we actually had a Taliban prison on Bagram Air Force Base.
Oh, my gosh.
And so he thought I was an escapee. And so he was trying to decide whether he needed to pull out his 9mm pistol and shoot me."
And you were going boo like that. Oh my God.
Yes. So that's my war story in Afghanistan. The least the unclassified version that I can tell you.
Oh, okay. So what you're telling us is there's more you can't tell. I guess that's what classified means, right?
Yes, classified means yes.
Yeah.
I did some things, but I can never tell you. I have to take it to my grave.
What?
Anyway.
But I thought there was like a 50-year unclassified secret. So if it happened 50 years ago, technically you could talk about it, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I'll be around. I think I'll definitely be a ghost 50 years from now.
Well, maybe, hopefully not.
As you've noted that I'm kind of an old guy, so done a lot. So when you're done a lot, you have to have a lot of years to do all those things. So here I am. What?
Oh, okay. Sorry. When did I say you were an old guy?
No, well, I guess the implication was there because he said I did a lot. So anyway, how do we get talk about that? It was just It's like one story. I've been dying to tell somebody about it because it's the most unusual story I could tell you about my war experience.
Well, actually, I think it's cool. I kind of saw. I think I saw it coming because I thought walking around a base at night, you're in makeup, and I thought one of the suspicious people would think it was actual ghost on, and they were like, you terrified them.
I came close
To being a real ghost.
Could have been. It could have been. Yeah.
So let's talk about. I was reading about the old grandma's tree. How did that get started?
Yes.
And describe the heart behind it, like how you came to it.
Oh, okay. So anyway, old grandmother's tree. The old grandmother of that book series is my Algonquin ancestor up in Quebec. Mm-hmm. Her name was Marie-Mette Owaugwe, and she was a young Algonquin woman living in the mid-17th century in Quebec. When she was 22 years old, she was married to another Algonquin named Assababish. They had 2 small children, and in 1652, the Mohawks came up from New York. They raided the village. Her husband was killed in the attack, and her 2 children were taken away by the Mohawks, and she never saw them again or even knew what happened to them. They just disappeared. And so at 22, there she was. She lost everything, her husband and her children. And 5 years later, she married a French citizen named Pierre Cauque, and they became my ancestors and the ancestors of many other people in Canada and the United States. And when she died, the priest up in Trois-Rivières wrote about her, and he said that Marie-Mette Owaugwe lived a full life with dignity, respect, and love. A courageous and loving Algonquin woman. And I was very inspired by that. It's like the most beautiful but short, most effective eulogy I ever read.
Yeah.
And so from those 2 facts, I built this whole story about her and her descendants and her family. Her family being the tree, and her being the whole center and the trunk that carries all these stories together.
And you're holding these stories and collecting them for your ancestors and to honor them, and maybe and people can use it, to collect. They can use it with their ancestors, right? Hopefully, families they can read it together. So it's a book that's out now. People can buy it, right, on Amazon, right? Or would you prefer?
Yes.
Where'd you like them to buy it? Let's get that.
Amazon. Amazon's a good place to buy it.
Okay.
It is on Amazon, and actually, there are 3 books now. There's two volumes called Old Grandmother's Tree, Volume 1 and 2, and then there is another book that just came out a couple months ago called Dance of Creation. It's set in the same universe as the other 2 books, and it's a continuation of those stories as a sequel and a prequel.
So, what was the moment or the season in your life that said, "I need to stop the army. I need to stop this, and I need to write"? So, what was that?
Well, actually, I was always a kid growing up with a lot of imagination. Maybe too much of imagination. So I love stories, love reading about stories and kind of imagining stories. But I really didn't take an active writing until way after I retired from the Army. I retired in 2007. My brother passed away from ALS. My younger brother died in 2013. And that kind of got me inspired to start writing as kind of an outlet for myself. And I wrote this blog called Augustine's Alley. And it was just me musing on philosophy, history, mathematics, science, whatever I wanted to. And I wasn't really caring about building an audience, I just wanted to express myself. And that kind of led after a few years to the idea of doing creative writing, and that kind of merged with the idea of discovering as I researched my family history, and I found this amazing woman as an ancestor. It kind of merged together. But what makes this a little different, though, from other books, because some people write, stories about their ancestors. A lot of people do or have. But what makes this different is that I took her story, Marie-Mette Owaugwe, this Algonquin woman, and I immersed her story, into a reimagined Quebec with magic and folklore and Native American trickster animal characters. So it's based on true history, but I'm using the language of a folk tale to tell the story. And oh, by the way, it's fully illustrated book. There's almost one full color illustration per page. I think we got up to about 700 illustrations right now, I think, in the 3 volumes. And
are you illustrating them, or you have
Oh, no, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler.
Wow.
But I like to visualize. No, I actually worked with 2, this book is so big, and the project was so large. To make it work, we actually used 2 artists. Wow. And the first artist I used was a young woman from Manhattan named Masami Kiyono, and she is a storyboard artist for commercials. So, do you remember Doritos commercial in the Super Bowl maybe about 3 years ago?
Yeah.
She helped design that.
Wow.
Yeah, so she does that. So she storyboards. So we work together. I write the text, and we go through together, and we decide where an illustration will go, and we get kind of a concept of what that illustration will show, what action will be taking place in that, and then we'll storyboard the whole story out. And once that's done, then I turned it over to a finishing artist, a very talented young woman from Toronto, and her name is Natasha Pelly-Smith. Mm-hmm. And so the 3 of us worked together to actually put this book together.
Wow. So, cool. So I think Howie wanted to ask you a real quick question.
Yeah, were you raised around storytelling and folklore and spiritual traditions that shaped the way you write today?
I think, I grew up as a Catholic. I'm still a Catholic, and I think Catholic is very much a mystical faith. Especially, I grew up in a French-Canadian family where we had stories about our ancestors, mostly great-grandparents in Quebec. And, it's a very mystical religion with, faith and devotion to saints, people who are in heaven, saints who have been very close to God. And so that kind of inspired, I think, kind of the mysticism within myself. Yeah. And story for myself is that I always was fascinated by stories. I would read all the Greek mythology stories, Norse mythology, Native American mythology. I loved mythology. I loved the imagination of it. And I also like science fiction. So I always had that love of storytelling. And I would tell stories to the neighborhood kids.
Wow, cool. So, I read some of your stories, and your stories, they feel, I don't know how to say it, we're looking for a word. I think they feel ancient, but they also feel personal. So, like, how do you balance the mythic themes with the emotional truth in your own life?
Well, I think you touched on something. In fact, that it feels ancient. It feels familiar to you.
Yeah.
All the stories are original, but it was written in the language of a folktale, and I chose that as a creative language because folktales tell a universal truth about human existence, living, about living well and living with a sense of morality. And so when you read it, anyone reading these stories who's familiar with folk tales within their own cultural background is going to say it feels very familiar.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the archetypes are very similar as well.
I can't help thinking it's kind of like, is there some memory that we carry from in our genetic code, like from generation to generation, when these things feel ancient, familiar? Like, I know that story, that I know that feels like it's part of like my past. That's really
absolutely. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, one for example, in there is the trickster animal character. Every culture's mythology has trickster characters, and we use them today. It's very much an archetype in TV, and for example, Bugs Bunny, classic trickster character.
Yeah.
George Costanza from Seinfeld, very much a trickster character. There are kind of people who would kind of create a mess of things.
Oh, okay.
And so the stories use that kind of archetype.
That's cool. So I'm sure this is a story like telling podcast, and you have a book of short stories. So did you become prepared to read a short story or two from your book?
Well, let me see.
Can I dump that on you there?
Sure.
Okay.
No, there's only about 60,000 words. So let me just grab a book right here. I'll read you right from the very beginning of my third book. How's that?
That sounds great.
All right, hang on.
Okay, so probably edit out this part. We're waiting for him to come back.
In the meantime.
Okay, I got it. I guess this is we're not going to be on.
Yeah, video. But what's the name of it? It's called
Dance of Creation.
Dance of Creation, written by Joseph Bolton. Did you go by Joseph Bolton? Is that your?
Yes, and it's illustrated by Natasha Pelley-Smith.
Okay.
And so this story is a sequel and a prequel. It's a sequel in the sense that the framing story takes place 100 years in the future.
Oh.
But the main story, the Dance of Creation, talks about the creation of the world, and it goes back to the beginning of time. So, anyway, I'll read you the very beginning couple of pages of this story.
Okay.
All right. Pembroke, Ontario, Canada, Wednesday night, August 7th, 2126. An Algonquin grandfather is camping with his grandchildren. My grandchildren, come, sit with me under the stars and around this warm fire, for I have a story to tell you. It is a story that has been passed down to me by my grandparents, who received it from their grandparents, and who in turn received it from their grandparents. The story begins this way. It was the moment before all other moments, and the dream before all other dreams. The Creator danced into existence a beautiful world for his people to live in peace, harmony, and love. But before any of the people walked the land, the Creator called forth a family of beings to be the people's elder brothers and elder sisters. The Creator gave each of these elder brothers and elder sisters a gift that they could use to help the people. The first of these elder beings to be created was Wasea the giant, whose name means first light from the rising sun, and his brother Makish the turtle. They are the elder brothers of all the elder beings that followed. As the elder brother, Wasea was given the gift of wisdom so that he could help his younger brothers and sisters. He was also given a share in the Creator's power to call forth living beings. When Wasea's younger brother Mikish was born, the Creator kissed him and also gave him a gift. Mikish's gift is that when he meets a human being, he can see the Creator's dance that brought that person to life. Each dance is different for each person, and through it, Mikish can see the talents and the gifts that make that person unique. Did you all know that before we sat down together tonight? Think how wonderful it is. At the moment you were born, the Creator danced a joyful dance, a dance that is unique and different for each of you. Mikish can see that dance if he meets you. That is his gift. So that's your first few pages.
Wow, it's the people. That's really sweet. It kind of had a little feel. I mean, I liked it. It reminded me of the beginning of the first Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Is that what it's called? The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe. You know, the first few scenes that it takes you through a little bit of the creation of that world. I don't know if you read that series, but yeah, that was.
Yes.
People are going to want to see how it continues, right? That's the idea here. People need to get your book.
Oh yes. I'm really pleased the way this one came out. The illustrations are outstanding, and the adventures of Mikish and the turtle and his brother Wasea the giant and their brothers and sisters continue on throughout the book. And it talks about how all the other trickster animal characters, the younger ones, came into existence as well.
Wow, cool. Wow. Oh,
So many of your pieces, they feel like teachings. What lessons do you hope people feel or carry with them long after reading your stories?
I think first of all is just the treasure and value of storytelling. Mm-hmm. Storytelling is an art. And one of the mottos I kind of have for this book series, and some of the advertising, promotional material I had, was rediscover the magic of storytelling. And that's what we wanted to create, Natasha and I and Masami. We wanted to create a story that was entertaining, but did part some life lessons without being too overhanded about it. And above all else, entertaining, and a story that you can read to your children and grandchildren and not be bored by it as an adult. And so that was kind of our goal for it. And every story in this book series does have its own unique lesson. And it's not necessarily spelled out very clearly, but it's in there.
So talking to you, even for the 20 minutes we've talked, it's so clear. You've lived a very thoughtful and intentional life. But can you describe any hardships that shaped you in that meaningful way that created this person who decided to live with intention?
I think for me, as I look back, one of the challenges early on, when we were 10 years old, we moved from Massachusetts to upstate New York. My father got a different job. That was a very traumatic experience for me. And, I kind of became like a stranger in a strange land. It didn't really fit in. I was bullied. And, it kind of gave the effect of turning me inward to focus on myself.
Yeah.
And I think also that I lost two younger brothers as adults. Again, mentioned my brother David, who died of ALS, which is a very horrible disease to suffer from. And about 2 years ago, in fact, 2 years ago this month, I lost my youngest brother to alcoholism. And so those are kind of traumatic experiences. And one theme, especially in this last book that I read you from, Dance of Creation, is that Wasea the giant and his brother Mikish the turtle become separated from their brothers and sisters. And so one theme of the book is that they're trying to reconnect with that family and find them as they travel around the world. And the very beginning of this book, if you do buy, you should buy it. There's a sequence where Wasea, as all their brothers and sisters are running to the world to help the people. Mikish, the turtle, being a turtle, can't keep up with everybody else. And Wasea, his older brother, turns around, picks McKeesh the turtle up, puts him on his shoulder, and carries him. And that reminded me of what I used to do with my youngest brother, who died of alcoholism, because I was about 7 years older than him. And when he was little, I would carry him around.
So I can't really speak to losing a sibling, but Howie here lost his sister. He can speak to that.
I lost my sister 25 years ago. Yeah, I can relate.
She was 30, so she was
30 years old. Yeah.
So he can speak to that. I've never really, but I have 2 kids, so I'm sure the closeness of losing someone that's so close would be, I can't even fathom. Wow.
Joseph, what would old grandmother Tree say if she was speaking directly to humanity right now?
My ancestor?
Yeah.
I think first of all she would be so proud to see this book written about her. And as I was writing it, both Natasha and I felt like we were inspired to portray her in certain ways. We felt like we were inspired externally, whether it was by her. You can see that. It feels that way to me. And the other thing is, I think that even though there's 250 years that separate us in time, I think she would see me as her grandchild, her grandson. She would immediately see that sense of connection and family. And I think that's also part of the theme of the book, that even though Mitio Goku or Marie-Mette Owaugwe is only shown in a few stories, she's mentioned in almost every other story, because she kind of is the trunk, the connecting tissue that holds all these stories together and the characters. So I think that she would immediately recognize her sense of family, and she would see their family as extremely large and be very happy about it.
I think it's just connection you have with her, and the obvious. You don't speak about her as some person that was an ancestor, a forgotten ancestor. You speak about a more about a loving grandmother and person you have a deep connection with, than a distant ancestor. That's really sweet. So I wanted to ask you before we did this. Our show we like doing storytelling. We like to do creative stuff. We make up stories, but then we use AI to help us hone the stories. I was going to ask you as a writer how you feel about AI in writing and stuff like that.
I don't use any AI, and Tasha and I made that decision early on. I don't use any AI on my stories at all. Not that I'm against AI or think that it doesn't have a purpose. It's just that I want my story to be purely me.
Yeah.
And the input of other human beings. And Natasha doesn't use any AIs for her illustrations either. And I think that it makes her illustrations feel a little bit more alive and a little bit more genuine. I think when you look at an AI illustration, and it may look great, it may look almost realistic, but there's just something missing from it.
Well,
however,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was just going to add. I'm working with Masami right now. We are working on another story in the Old Grandmothers series that's actually going to be set in the year 2102, and it will deal with a robot named Beatrice, who is a hospitality robot in an abandoned bed and breakfast up in Quebec. And that story is going to deal very heavily with AI and robotics.
Well, I think some people use it to help them structure sentences. Some people use it. I would never use it for the creation part, but I would give it lots of information. Would help me organize it. I mean, some people hardly use the I like Howie here,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we wrote a story. We researched you, and we looked up everything we can. We collected it all together, and we wrote a short tribute story. Now we can. You can read it. You can read it, or we can read. You can have the velvet voice of Howie read it to you.
Yeah, why don't you guys read it? I mean, I'll just be totally surprised by this. This is really an interesting idea.
So I have to say the velvet voice of Howie, because believe it or not, Howie actually has fans now. We have people writing to us, commenting, saying, "I love the velvet voice of Howie." And so yeah, and then Okay, hey, and he's getting a little bit diva-ish because he got fans. Like today he was, where's my microphone? This chair's wrong. He was like a little bit of a diva. Okay, well, anyway,
All right.
here's your tribute. So sorry.
All right. Tonight, we honor a storyteller whose words feel like walking through a forest where every branch, every shadow, and every bit of wind is alive with purpose. He is a man who listens, not just to people, but to the world, the quiet, the unspoken. Through oldgrandmotherstree.com, he invites others into that listening. He writes with humility and depth, guiding readers into moments of introspection they don't know they needed. He has a rare gift of turning simple ideas into sacred experiences. The kind of storyteller who can remind you that you are a part of something greater, larger, older, and far more beautiful than you realized when you first pressed play. His work is a light stone, something that pushes back the darkness simply by existing. And like any true guide, he doesn't preach. He opens a door, steps aside, and lets the reader choose to walk through. Tonight we celebrate the writer, the wanderer, the quiet sage behind Old Grandmother's Tree, a man whose stories help us remember who we are.
Wow.
Wow.
What do you
Amazing.
think of that, Jimmy?
I think that nailed it. That nailed it. And, I said I don't use AI to create the stories, and that's very true. I don't put it in the stories. But I have used AI also to the summarize feature, just to summarize and see what it'd say about the story.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it pulls out the themes. It's spooky. It's definitely a ghost in the machine. And what Howie just read, it's like, wow, he just nailed it.
Well, it really depends on how much information you give it. Like, if you just say, write me a tribute story to Joseph Bolton, it's going to say, it's going to give you something about the quality that a seventh grader would write. But I give it like pages and pages and pages of information that I download from your website, that I see in your description, and I do like significant research, and it has probably 20 pages of stuff to create this from. So obviously it's nice to see that it's getting your essence. And a little bit spooky too, that we're that transparent, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's, I think some people, I would imagine, may feel uneasy about it. I don't.
No.
I don't feel uneasy.
I also don't. Yeah.
I'm fascinated by technology. So, I don't use AI for the creation stories, but it is interesting that when you do a summarizing feature, what pops out, what the AI picks up from it, the themes that it picks up, and it's very eerily accurate.
Yeah, I've always been an early adopter. I joined Netflix in 2000, a month after it opened. I'm not a member anymore, but so I've always been a truster and a early adopter of tech. I was streaming TV back in 2007 before we had these devices that did it. But who are the term light stones comes up in your work? So who are your light stones in your life? The people or the moments that helped you guide you out of the darkness? Who are your...
I think, I've had many throughout my life. I've had teachers when I was younger that would take an interest in me, especially when I needed that extra guidance. I was a lazy student, but smart kid. So that kind of takes a special kind of teacher and patience to help that person. That helped me out a lot. In the Army, I had mentors who cared about me. But I think overall, if I had to pick somebody now at this point in my life, I guess it would definitely be my ancestor. She feels like a real person, and her story just really inspires me. When you start feeling sorry for yourself, and then you look back on her story and realize that at 22 years old, you lose everything. You lose your whole family, and there isn't like this kind of safety net that we're so used to today.
Yeah.
You have to kind of start from the beginning. So, she kind of inspires me as well. And
that's cool.
So I think those are the things that kind of inspire me. And I think also my grandparents and my parents as well.
So, okay. Yeah, cool. And your grandparents are still around? Your parents are still around?
I have one mother left. My father died about 6 years ago.
Okay.
My grandfather, My grandparents died, over time. The last one, my grandfather died in 2004.
Okay, like, see, there I go and playing you're an old man again. Like, wait,
Yes,
your grandparents
yeah.
are alive? He said incredulously.
But you really,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? What's so bad about being old? I mean, it's
Nothing.
better than the alternative, right?
I don't think you're. I don't think you're that much older than me, to be honest. So,
No. Age is just, they say it's just a number. Well, it really is.
Yeah.
I still do a lot of things. Still very active. I go hiking. I go
Nice.
skiing. Go on big trips to Canada.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm a lot more active than I was when my grandparents were. My grandfathers were when they were my age.
Oh,
that's
well.
for sure.
Well, me too. I'm a lot more active. I don't think my dad ever did. I love hiking. I just got back from a trip to British Columbia. I say just got back, but I went in July, a hiking trip in Jasper and
Yeah.
Banff and all those areas.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Mount Robinson. I have a picture that I took in Mount Robinson, and it's framed on my wall. It was amazing. The water was so still. So
I'd love to go.
it was so amazing. But you'd have to be able to walk, because it was about 5 miles and a lot of it uphill to get to that viewpoint that was worth it, right? And I remember walking, thinking, being thankful to the universe that I have the ability to walk up this hill to go see this beautiful thing. And so that was cool that I have that gift of being able to walk up the hill. So it seems like your stories are about connection. And so what does connection mean to you in a world that for many people seems increasingly disconnected?
Well, I think first of all, if I could go back to like visiting and traveling, one thing I have a philosophy is that if I visit a place, there's two things that I have to do. Otherwise, I never visited it. I don't care if I'm physically there. Number one, I have to walk to land. I have to get up.
Yeah.
I have to use my own 2 feet and make that physical connection with the terrain itself. And the other thing is actually meet the people who live there in the place that you're visiting. So that's that sense of connection. Symbolically, though, in the story, there is a magic shawl that has the colors of the Northern Lights infused in it. And that shawl originally belonged to Marie-Mette Owaugwe, the old grandmother, and it gets passed on from generation to generation. So in the stories, you'll see a character, a woman character, wearing this shawl that belonged to her ancestor and was passed on generations. That is a symbol of the physical connection we have with our ancestors. And certainly one theme of the book that's symbolized by that shawl is that the story of our ancestors didn't end when they died. We ourselves are the continuation of the story of our ancestors, where their story continued. And that's very much a theme within the book. So there's always a connection, referral back to earlier stories, other stories in the books, and the physical symbol is that shawl that the characters will actually wear.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my sons, and I think of like when they do things in the world that is like what I feel is like me. I think like, wow, I'm so happy that part of me gets to continue. I am their ancestor in the way, right? So, so we did the tributes story. We also do a tribute poem. So, do you want us to read the tribute poem, or would you like to read it?
Oh, do you want? I'll tell you what. I'll read it this time.
Okay,
if you want.
Here we go. I'm going to share the screen with you here.
Okay.
Here we go.
I will read this tribute. Was this written by AI as well?
I mean, partially written by AI, and it was. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit for you. So I'm going to scroll it like a teleprompter. Okay.
Okay. All right. Beneath the oldest branches, where time forgets to hurry, your words rise like morning mist. You write in the language of roots, slow, steady, loyal to the earth. Stories that lean close and whisper the things we lost when the word moved too fast. You carry the patience of stones, the tenderness of moss, the courage of a fire that knows it only needs one spark to push back the night. Your stories are not written, they are grown, watered by memory shaped by wonder, carried by wind into the hands of whoever needs them most. And here, on this night, beneath your old grandmother's tree, we honor the keeper of quiet truths, the storyteller whose light helps us find our own. I love that. That is awesome.
Well, by the way, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, I like that so much. I would like to include that with your attribution to you.
Yeah.
And you and Howie, include that into the next book.
Wow, I will share this. I'll share this document with you. This document has notes and cold opening notes and episode descriptions, which you can see, but it has the poems and the story. As soon as the episode over, I will share this document with you. It even has the questions we planned on asking and some that we didn't ask them all. And there's even your intro on there. So what's next? What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, I'm continuing to write. I've got the fourth story, which is dealing with which is like the end of the life of Marie-Mette Owaugwe. Covers the last 2 days of her life. It's called Campfires in the Sky. That story is written. All the storyboard art is done. Natasha is going to start illustrating that book this month, and it'll probably take about a year to get done. There's about 145 illustrations. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm also working on a comic, probably maybe about 20-page comic, just a classic comic with the thought bubbles and the text embedded in the illustrations.
Yeah. And
that one's going to be about robotics and AI, and it's going to take place in the same universe, but kind of in the future, like 2102, early 22nd century. And that one's going to be called Bonjour Hello.
Bonjour Hello.
And I have other ideas for other stories, too. What's that?
Well, that's what writers need to have. You need to have lots of ideas for lots of
Yes. And I can't stop. I should stop, but no, I can't stop. The stories come to me and I keep going.
Why stop?
Well, it's expensive. Creating these books it takes a lot of time of, thousands of hours to do it right. And you care about what you are doing. But doing the illustrative work, because I have to pay my artists up front, that is also very expensive as well. But we do it because I think that's the right way to do it, and I'm very much a visual person. I see my stories unfold as a movie before I write them. So that's a very natural medium for me to want to work in. And the other reason I go very illustrative heavy is because it's a dream of these books that they're going to be a Netflix series or Amazon or maybe Apple TV. But I do think it's going to be ready made. All the storyboard art is already done, and it's going to make a great animated series or even a live action CGI series.
Reminds me of the kind of feeling and heart of the animated series like Watership Down, and it feels like it's got a lot of depth and heart like that. I mean, do you remember that old animation about the rabbits? And
yes.
Stuff? Yeah, of course. Wow. So if you have to give younger generation who's out there, for us old men, we want to give those younger. What's your message? What's your message to the world, to the kids, to people who are listening?
I think first of all, right now is one of the things that you'll realize when you get older, almost like a tragedy of being old, is that when you're old, long after your parents and your grandparents have started fading away and passed on, it's only then you really understand the questions that you needed to ask when you were younger. Ask them when they were younger. So my suggestion is that if you're young, you need to engage your older relatives, your grandparents, your parents, your great aunts and your great uncles, and you need to ask them stories. You got to get beyond the superficial of, hey, how you doing? This is what I'm doing in school.
Yeah.
But you need to ask them about life, and because once they're gone, and that knowledge, that wisdom they accumulated, it's no longer accessible to you. And it'll be the ghost that'll haunt you if you're not asking ahead of time.
I totally agree. I love speaking to older people about the history. In fact, I just went to to
Thanksgiving at my house, and he spoke to my mom at length, and he was telling me, the best way to talk to the older generation is to ask them about their history. And it was I heard things I hadn't heard before. It was amazing.
And she was animated, and she was laughing, and she's never like that. She was telling about the history of how she came from Mexico and how she came by herself when she was 14, and she talked about meeting his dad, and they had because I was engaging with her and talking to her, so I'm fully backing up what she's saying. I think it's so valuable. I find it so interesting to find out what was it like to go into an old, one of the old soda shops in the 40s. What was that really like? How did things taste differently? So, cool. Well, this has been fun. Anything else before we start signing off here?
Oh gosh, I'm a person who loves to talk. I could talk 2 hours, but I would say is that I enjoyed being on this show, and it's been a very fast hour. And I would love to come back, especially maybe a year from now when some more of the books are out. Yeah, and we could get together and talk about those as well.
I'm always open to that. I think I love to have. I've had a few people back on. If they have, it's about storytelling. It'd be cool if we could read some of your stories from your books and maybe read them together. If there's parts that can be read together. But hey. Thank you so much. Before we go, let's tell people, name your books and tell people where they can get them.
Okay. So the books are called Old Grandmother's Tree. There's in 3 volumes right now. The 3rd volume is called Dance of Creation. It's available in English and French, and it is on Amazon. You can find it there. And I really would encourage you to visit my website of the books, which is oldgrandmotherstree.com, and there's no apostrophe in there. It's just written as one word, oldgrandmotherstree.com. Yep. And in there you'll find a Wikipedia of the characters, as well as links to buy the books and more information as well. So visit me there. Cool. I'd love to hear from you.
My brain is connecting brain, and also your book also has the Giving Tree feel about it too. That book. Too, but there's so much depth, and it's got so much more depth than that, one child's book. But I think I'm glad that people can find them, and let's see. So, thank you so much for coming on. I lost my train of thought. Have you ever lost your train of thought?
No, that's okay.
Mid-sentence, I forgot what I was saying mid-sentence there, and I was like my brain was malfunctioning, saying, "What was I saying? What was I saying? Well, what am I saying?" But thank you so much. I need to do a little closing thing here, a reflective closing thing, and then I'll say goodbye to you, and then we can say goodbye. But it doesn't matter. This part I'm saying right now will also be in the show because we don't edit things out. It is what it is, and people are listening to an authentic, real conversation, mistakes and all, So. Thank you for spending time with us. If tonight's conversation stirred something in you, an old memory, a quiet truth, or a spark of wonder, follow it. Stories are how we heal, how we learn, and how we remember we remember that we are never really alone. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep listening for the stories waiting just beneath the surface. And thank you for listening. Say good night.
Good night, Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Good night, guys.
Thanks for spending time with us. Now go make a story worth telling.